This episode is brought to you by Honda. When you test drive the new Prologue EV, there's a lot that could impress you about it. There's the class-leading passenger space, the clean, thoughtful design, and the intuitive technology. But out of everything, what you'll really love most is that it's a Honda. Visit honda.com/EV to see offers.
There's no better feeling than a personal win, and the State Farm Personal Price Plan can help you do just that. Talk to a State Farm agent today to learn how you can bundle and save with the Personal Price Plan. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. Prices are based on rating plans that vary by state. Coverage options are selected by the customer. Availability, amount of discounts and savings, and eligibility vary by state.
Live from the TCL Broadcast Studios, it's Joe Souchere and Patrick Royce with Sports Talk.
Mark down another one, Rook, that's not going to take me from this vale of tears.
What's not going to take you?
Being on a duck boat that flips over in Branson, Missouri. 17 people died. I think 17, right? Last count.
Yes, but
Branson.
The logistics of that, and we don't know the story yet, but obviously
that's a big old lake, isn't it? On the Lake of the Ozarks, I'm not sure. But,
well, they turned over in 40 feet, and it was pushed over into 80 feet.
If the wind is blowing 65, you think it's a good idea to maybe not bother to go out, even if you do have a full house. You might want to disappoint the people and say,
"Come back tomorrow.
We got high wind warnings, and we're not going to do it tonight." 65 miles an hour, and I think it's the Lake of the Ozarks. But
what about the?
Sure.
I don't understand the life jacket situation. If you're on a calm lake,
well, don't you have life jackets?
I would want. Well, they probably have them stowed away in the benches, but if it starts to get windy,
Table Rock Lake.
Okay, if it starts to get windy and the boat's moving, I'm going to put it on just for the hell of it.
29 passengers and 2 crew members. One of the crew members also drowned. So that's not good. These duck boats, which are equipped to run on both land and sea,
right?
Also had some other deaths. 40 people since 1999 previously. 5 college students in Seattle when a duck boat collided with a bus, so that had to be on dry land, right? 13 people died in 1999 when a boat sank near Hot Springs, Arkansas. That had to be the Lake of the Ozarks, right?
Okay.
Hot Springs. So duck boats are death traps, said Andrew Duffy, an attorney whose Philadelphia law firm handled litigation related to 2 fatal duck boat accidents there. They are not fit for water or land because they are half car and half boat. Well, anyway.
And they're so low down. You're so low down.
So I don't know. I don't think I've ever even seen one. I've seen the little cars that drive on water, but those like kind of bobs around.
It looks like a little like a bob. I mean, there's different variations, but they're weighted down with passengers.
Do we have those over on at the Dells?
Yes, they're very popular at the Dells.
But the Dells probably is not on a big enough body of water to have the 65-mile-an-hour winds, are they?
I wouldn't think so. That lake there, I forget what lake. In fact, that lake dried up a couple of years ago.
Really?
I think it's healthy again.
I kind of take the fun out of it.
Yeah, you can't really go on that jet ski or anything like that.
Hey, let's go down to the beach and walk across the lake,
yes.
Kids. What do you say?
Well, you might want to go looking for some with your metal detector, some old rings or coins or something like that.
That is unfortunate to say the least. But
because think about that. So many would have been together as families.
Oh my God!
Taking that trip, you might have a double or triple funeral.
I know that I've reached the end of my time on Earth. If I ever have anyone in the family say, let's go to Branson.
Okay.
As a vacay?
Yeah. Because they got the leftovers from the Lawrence Welk band down there and stuff like that.
You're probably not.
They must have gambling, huh? They must have gambling.
I believe they do. I think they do on the...
And it's every old country music act there is, right?
Right.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's they kind of built it out of nowhere, so congratulations to them. But I don't think I'm going to Branson.
Branson does have casinos. Mm-hmm. BransonCasino.com.
Bet they got penny slots, too.
Probably
in Branson, Missouri.
If you're going to Branson to gamble, you're probably a shrewd gambler. You're probably not looking for the high stakes.
You're not going to Vegas, that's for sure.
Have you been to Laughlin?
Never been to Laughlin.
I've never been to Laughlin.
That was started by a Minnesota guy, right? Laughlin?
Yeah.
I believe it was.
It was?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. He went down there, however many years ago, decades ago.
Yes.
And it's more of a.
Well, it's close to the Grand Canyon, isn't it? I mean, it gets you. It's right on the border, so it gets Arizona. People who don't want to drive all the way from Phoenix can drive to Laughlin, right? I mean, from Phoenix can drive to Laughlin, right? Am I not mistaken?
Yeah, and I think it's a little more laid back. You don't get the intensity like you do with Las Vegas.
Well, it's probably a lot like downtown Las Vegas. Those casinos, not quite as ornate, probably in Laughlin, right?
It is right on the tip between Arizona, California, and Nevada. So it's right where they all kind of come together.
Over there. So okay, all right. Maybe it isn't. Maybe it doesn't save you time then driving from Phoenix. I don't know.
No, but it's extremely popular. So a lot of people go there.
Mm-hmm.
Not myself though.
No, I saw that baseball commissioner of the boys today, Johnny Krasinski, was in here filling in for Judd, and really it was a fairly rational show, but without Judd's hot takes and trade him off and the whole deal.
Right.
But I heard them talking about the commissioner of baseball named 6 possible expansion sites, naming Vegas as one. Nope. Baseball is a lot of sports belong there.
Baseball's not one.
NFL belongs there. NHL belongs there. NBA belongs there. Baseball is, first of all,
well, they have
summer,
a AAA affiliate, right?
Yeah, it's a summer. It's 120 degrees. Blah blah blah. I think Portland is the one that's really aggressively trying to pursue it. I'm certain that Seattle can't be too happy about that because that's their TV market, but Portland and Montreal are probably the two best ones.
It's the beginning and the end with Montreal, don't you think? They're the next target.
Yeah, but as Manfred said, they got to take care of Oakland and Tampa first with the stadium situations.
Well, I could take care of Tampa right now. Move Tampa to Montreal. Although I like your plan better.
Move Tampa to Miami. Yep. Give Florida one well-operated team, and then move Miami to Montreal. And then go with 30 teams.
Yes.
They don't need to expand. But just because everybody else is doing it.
Why would baseball? They would be crazy to be in Las Vegas because it's such an outdoor game in the middle of summer.
Mm-hmm. I mean, they could build a dome, but I just don't. I think Las Vegas is made for more violent, hip activities. It's not made for a laid back game.
Soft, calm,
laid
cool.
back, calm game. Takes 3.5 hours. There's nobody going to come to town. Even if you go to town to watch the Twins, you get to about the 5th inning, man. You want to be gambling. You're going to be leaving. You're not. Right. Nobody's going to make it 9 innings in Vegas. They go out there to gamble. They're not. Find hookers. Do something. They're not. They're not going to be hanging out at the ballpark. That is not a good location for them. By the way, Reuvers, did you see who the new voice of the Oakland Raiders is?
I did see this.
Who?
Brent Musburger.
What?
Brent Musburger. They're in that guy who's been their voice.
Bob
too.
Papa
has been there forever.
Is Bob or Greg Papa?
Greg Papa. They're gassing him and making room for Brent because Brent's located in Vegas now. And he's getting ready to welcome them to Vegas, but he's going to do 2 years in Oakland. And I got a hunch they'll abuse the living hell out of him, don't you?
Well, what I couldn't understand is
the Oakland fans will see him and think Las Vegas. That's where he's working now.
What I couldn't understand is this a marketing, some type of marketing ploy for them to bring in Musburger? Because this guy, Papa, I'm talking, was there for 2.5 decades.
Yes. Well, I think it's something about the Vegas, to make the Vegas connection, but I think that's a bad idea while you're still playing in Oakland.
I do, too.
But Al Davis's son is not nearly as smart as Al Davis was, so I don't know.
Yeah, so he runs the club now. I don't know anything about him. What is he following his dad's footsteps?
He doesn't look like the old man. He's not as slick as the old man. He's kind of a dumpy-looking guy, but, the best thing that ever happened to him is Los Angeles wouldn't take him. The Well, the NFL decided to put the screws to him by not letting him be the second team in Los Angeles, and by doing that, they've made him the overlord of the greatest franchise in sports history, the NFL and Vegas. They're going to have, they're going to have brothels on the grounds, for football. It's going to be
all those visiting.
I'm going to go to Vegas the first time the Packers go there just to see the debauchery. It'll be fantastic. I want to see a sea of green as you try to walk into the stadium, stepping over the exhausted, drunken Green Bay bodies. It'll be fantastic. We'll be back. St. Thomas this morning to check them out, see how they're dealing with Dougie Hennes' death over there. Very, very tight with everybody at the U, and including the athletic department. I went over to see those fellas. A lot of angst going on over there right now. Of course, Glenn Caruso, who is the most positive guy of all time, his wife Rachel is dealing with cancer. I wrote about it last year. Quite a battle that is still taking place. And Johnny Towers' significant other, he's got a girlfriend for the last couple of years. Mm-hmm. She's got cancer, too. I'm not sure what, but she's on, there's a Caring Bridge page for her, too. So a lot of, things seem to happen in cycles. But
you need to keep everything into perspective.
I think Doug's service will be at 11 a.m. at the chapel at St. Thomas on Tuesday. Whether there's going to be a visitation Monday night at O'Halloran and Murphy, they're handling it, of course, and the official funeral home of St. Thomas, O'Halloran and Murphy, yes. And if at 11 a.m. or there might be a visitation before the service, so I'm not sure. But
did you get any dope on him? Did you get any good stories?
It appears to be a heart attack.
I mean as far as stories.
He was just an incredibly hard worker, and he had at one time before St. Thomas became more of a conglomerate,
right?
Became the conglomerate before it became the conglomerate that it is today with a lot more employees. He had about 4 different jobs over there.
Oh wow!
But basically, Gene McGivern runs the sports information department and has students as his assistants.
Right.
So they don't have a staff, but Doug basically leaped in there the last several years and has helped them guidance. And wrote a lot of stories, did a lot of work for them, just as a has basically added that to his jobs. And he was at all the Tommy's football games, writing the stories, and he was a Tommy through and through, that's for sure.
Yeah, at 63, that's really sad for his family.
Gave me a copy again of the little book they did last year on the Tommy's Johnny's rivalry and St. Thomas football, a little 60-pager.
Yeah,
Dougie was in on that along with McGivern, and of course there's a fine photo in there of my Uncle Frank, who was a star tackle way back in the late 20s.
Really?
Yeah, Frank O'Rourke. He was a mighty, when you see him, man, for that era.
Looked like a brick.
For that era. Big, tall guy, too. 6'3", probably.
You're
Frank
getting out of the way, huh?
6'2", 6'3", big, solid guy. Now, I was 40 years old before my dad was 40. My mom was in her 30s when I got adopted. So,
right.
So that generation's a little older, but Frank was a buddy of mine and a great guy and a great Tommy. And he was a great football player over there. Later on was the AD and the football coach at Mechanic Arts.
Oh, he was?
Yeah, for years. And then the AD at Mechanic Arts, too. He had both jobs.
Double duty.
I think he might have still been there when they closed her up. Maybe he retired by then. 70. I think they closed it up in 73 or 4.
You mentioned the Tommy Johnny.
Yeah.
Where is that this year?
I think it's at St. John's.
Okay.
Because last year was
they
a
did
home
at Target
game.
Field.
Last year was a home game, but last year was a home game for St. Thomas.
Okay.
So, and that's why I was there. This
What did
year,
they draw, by the way? I can't remember.
35,000.
Oh, so they'll do it again.
Sometime. But I think they wanted it to be kind of a one-offy thing, too, that they didn't want to make it routine. They wanted to make it a special event. I mean, they had people flying in from all over the country to see it. And by the way, the Johnnies outnumbered the Tommies, from what I could see.
Oh, really? I didn't go.
How much of that was due to the Sharkman factor?
Well, he was here, but...
no, but I mean, did he bring a crew?
Well, he did, but I mean, there was 20,000. He didn't bring that many.
That's true.
There probably was 20,000 Johnnies there and maybe 50,000 St. Thomas's. So,
boy, that is such a fun. Even whatever venue it's at, whether it's up at St. John's or at St. Thomas, that Saturday morning is so. When you get nice weather, it's such a great. You kind of want to stop time because people are. If you're going to the St. Thomas, people are grilling left and right, and they're kind of floating into the stadium, and there's backyard
St. John's
parties.
is obviously got the tailgating advantage over when the games.
Oh yeah, they
St.
just
Thomas.
put them in those fields.
Yeah, St. Thomas. They can, and they got the parking lots up there in front of the. Out in front of the church and stuff like that.
Because you guys always did the show up there, right, on Saturday?
We did a couple of years, 2-3 years we've done it up there. Yeah, it was.
That's festive because it's packed. And
2 years ago they had that. 2 years ago they had some more. They didn't have the whatever they call it game day, but remember they had
the ESPN.
But they didn't have game day, but they had their morning sports shows from there at 6 a.m. till 9.
Yes. And that people got up early.
Quite a crowd, yes.
So they were really starting.
Either they just, or some of the students stayed up.
Yeah, they never went to bed.
Never went to bed. Yeah.
The ones with really good stamina.
Have they ever played that matchup game at night, or is it always during the day?
They idiotically they had some of those for about a 7 or 8 year period. They had MIAC Day in the Metrodome, and they would not make concession to the rivalries. In other words, if it happened to fall on the last week of the season when the Metrodome day was, then I think the Johnnies and Tommies did play at least once in the Metrodome. It might have been a night game. I don't know.
Okay.
But
because when was that? Like the 80s?
The MIAC it's a political body. They do some stupid things. They should have all the rivalry games played on a certain week of October. St. Olaf, and they should never have this team playing in the opener, which has happened, or at the end of the season. This should be like the 5th game of the season, and Carleton St. Olaf should be the 5th game of the season, and what the Gustavus and Concordia could be the 5th game of the season. They should.
Why aren't they?
They don't listen to me. They got the fixer right here. All they'd have to do is say, "What should we do?"
You don't even charge them.
Call the fixer.
I do it for free. Call the fixer. I would fix it, but they don't like to be fixed. I'll tell you one thing, though, Kenny. I can't fix what MnDOT's got going this weekend.
Wow.
You'll have to tell us about it later.
It's tough for me to remain a supporter, I got to tell you. It's really tough.
The little 494 crosstown situation might be interesting. For all those people wanting to come in from the south suburbs for the X Games,
stay.
Watch your act.
Stay out of town. And we're going to actually get to that right after Brucey here.
All righty.
Sports Talk will return. Meanwhile, Bruce Vail with the Your Money Now report, as you well know, comes to us courtesy of Owatonna's own Federated Insurance. And what do you got, Bruce?
Well, stocks were unable to hold on to their early small gains today. The major indexes ended the week slightly lower, with the Dow Jones Industrial Average down 6 points at 25,058. The NASDAQ Composite lost 5 points. The S&P 500 fell 2 points. The NASDAQ was down 5 points today and 5 points for the week as well. The S&P 500 unchanged this week, and the Dow squeaked out a small gain. President Trump escalated his criticism of the Federal Reserve, saying its efforts to raise short-term interest rates hurt the U.S. economic expansion. Mr. Trump had previously been silent about Fed policy, in keeping with a long tradition in the White House of refraining from commenting on central bank decisions in respect for its independence. The wildly popular online game Fortnite has surpassed $1 billion in revenue. That is a particularly impressive amount considering the game is free to play and has been out for less than 2 years. Fortnite makes money entirely from in-app purchases, where players spend real money to buy in-game currency in order to customize their avatars. $1 billion worth of that. I'm Bruce Vail with Your Money Now on 1500 ESPN.
Okay, we thank you very much, Bruce, and we're going to let you go for the weekend. Like Patrick said, we're going to look at this construction situation this weekend. This one's sponsored by Indeed. And the Crosstown Freeway will be closed this weekend between Fort Snelling and 35W, although the westbound lanes will remain open over to Hiawatha so people can access the federal buildings. And 494, both directions closing between 100 and 212, but eastbound 494 should be open by late in the day tomorrow. Are you?
Here is John Height with a sports update.
Thank you, Patrick. Partly sunny and 79 degrees. Twins, they play again tonight, finally, after the All-Star break. 10-game road trip opens up in Kansas City against the Royals. Kyle Gibson against Danny Duffy.
Hey, your guy's back.
Who? Taylor Motter.
Taylor Motter. Oh, yeah, I saw that.
Recalled from Rochester.
Rochester made a good trade today. They got rid of Taylor Motter and they brought in Miguel Sano.
Wait, is that Suchi's dope smoking friend?
Yeah, I can't tell who needs a haircut worse, him or Rookie. A lot of salad.
Do you know Kansas City now has the worst record in baseball?
Congratulations,
they passed
boys.
Baltimore.
Ouch.
That was hard to believe. Baltimore was setting a really dazzling pace for ineptitude.
The Chicago Tribune has ranked all the Major League ballparks in respect to their neighborhoods.
Okay.
Oh, God. Now, are we mad that we weren't number one?
What a dumb idea.
Target Field.
Let's do the next story.
Target Field is number 7, Kenny.
Really?
They write.
Interesting, John.
They write, downtown Minneapolis is a fun place to be, especially the North Loop area near the Twins Park. 3 breweries, including Fulton, are located just around the corner from the stadium. The Loon Cafe offers terrific chili. First Avenue, one of the best music venues in the country, is a few blocks away, as is the Farmers Market. At the park, check out the statues of former Twins. Kirby Puckett's is outside the entrance in right.
Plus, you got the Super America right down the street that only closes from 2 to 4. Open the other 22 hours a day.
The North Loop is 694 from the Fish Lake split over to Highway 36 in Oakdale. That is the North Loop.
Yeah,
you dumb hipsters.
You lost that argument, baby. You
long
lost
time
that
ago.
argument.
Yeah.
Fenway, if you're wondering, is number 1 for neighborhood.
Please.
And
Really?
Wrigley is much better than Fenway.
Wrigley's number 2. Maybe because it was the Chicago Tribune, they thought we better not put our own.
Who was 3?
I don't know, Chris.
How'd the new Yankees deal fall?
It was number 8, I think, 7 or 8.
It's not
in the
bad
same
there,
spot.
Kenny.
It's
the
in the
Bronx,
same spot,
right
isn't it?
there.
Yeah.
But the Bronx are not bad right up the street. There are some very good, funky restaurants.
We have an update on 2 Mexican League umpires.
Okay.
Oh, this is great.
If you haven't seen this video, you have to
This is
catch
hilarious.
it.
I
have
put
not.
it on
What
the
is it?
Rookie. I put it on the Sports Talk page, 1500ESPN.com.
Yes.
Pull it up and show it to Kenny.
What happens is a swinger swings a batter.
So you got
swings-
Kenny's
a batter.
attention.
A batter swings at a pitch. A complete
Swings at a
swing.
pitch. If he hits it, it might be a double.
The home plate umpire calls it a ball, at which point the catcher says, huh? And he asks for the first base umpire to clarify. The first base umpire
Yeah, it's
also
a swing
gives,
and a miss.
Yeah,
It's a swing and a
gives
miss.
the safe sign.
Yeah,
it's
the
unbelievably
first base
funny.
umpire.
Unbelievably funny.
It's unbelievable. The guy almost had a hernia swinging at her.
What was the final call? What did they decide?
They left it a ball.
Yeah.
But now the 2 umpires.
They were both not paying attention.
It has been seen by millions of people.
Mm-hmm. The 2 umpires now have been suspended for the remainder of the season by the Mexican Baseball
Holy
League.
cow! That is enforcement. They don't have a strong union. The Mexican umpires, I take it.
The umpires are Ulysses Dominiz.
I don't think he swung.
Please.
He goes over to the first place guy. Yeah, I think we're good.
But it's the emphatic point, like, did he go? No, he did not. Oh, okay.
Even the batter said, "Yeah, I
Yeah,
swung.
I did, sir,
I
really."
swung."
The manager comes out to argue. He's not even sure what to say. You can tell. He doesn't know how to go about
Oh, the
arguing
video's
this.
so great.
It gave me a chance to once again tell my favorite ever Twins broadcasting story. Ray Scott and Ralph John Fritz, Channel 4. And Ray is talking. Ray, who was fantastic, and RJ was one of the great guys ever. The batter is Ray is describing this little white right-handed hitting batter who was recently up, but then he looks down to see that Carlos May is batting, who's a black left-handed guy, and Ray says, "Well, pardon me, ladies and gentlemen. I apologize. I missed what happened to whoever it was, Lenny Garcia.
The previous batter, yeah.
I missed what happened to him. RJ, what happened to that batter?" And Ralph John says, "I don't know, Ray. I wasn't watching either."
Johnny, do you have the quote from the league commissioner or whatever? Oh,
no.
Okay.
No.
The quote yesterday after both these guys got suspended, and now obviously they were suspended for the rest of the season. It basically said they didn't adhere to the standards of the Mexican league.
Well, plus the bad part is it was a really good pitch.
Yeah, it was a strike.
It wasn't way up when he called it a ball anyway.
Who came up from the Mexican League in the in Major League?
The catcher, Jake Taylor.
Jake Taylor
says, "What are you doing up here? Couldn't cut it in the Mexican League."
There were two other umpires on the field for this also.
Yeah.
At second base and third base. They received a warning from the league for not intervening.
They should have raced in and said, "You're both idiots."
Yes,
right.
exactly.
You guys are warned about what? We didn't see it either.
News notes from today. Police in Plymouth say they received 26 reports of vandalism from Wednesday night into Thursday morning in an area from the city's south border to north of Rockford Road. Police spokesperson said the vandalism mostly was shattered vehicle windows, spray-painted cars, spray-painted garages, and other property, and one damaged mailbox. Police are seeking assistance from anyone who has info or might have a home security system with video. You're asked to call the Plymouth Police Department if you have any information.
Sounds like dazed and confused there, that they're just now going knocking mailboxes over and the like.
National Weather Service.
I watched it again. I read like 3 days ago. I ran across that movie. I had to watch 40 minutes of it. All right.
Yeah. National Weather Service in Duluth said poor air quality is expected in northwestern and north central Minnesota into Saturday morning. Tweet said it's because of wildfires in Canada, resulting in smoke across the region, leading to unhealthy air quality levels. The tweet said air quality is expected to remain poor into tomorrow morning.
So southern Minnesota has all the rain it could possibly want, and Canada doesn't have any? Is that the way it's going?
They're saturated down south.
Mm-hmm.
The FBI is in possession of a recording between President Donald Trump and his former personal attorney, Michael Cohen, in which the two men before the election discuss a payment to a former Playboy model who's alleged an affair with Trump. That, according to Rudy Giuliani and a source familiar with the matter. Cohen and his other recordings of the president in the records that were seized by the FBI, said both the source with knowledge of the tapes and Giuliani. Another source with knowledge of the tape, however, said the conversation is not as mundane as Giuliani describes it and is not good for the president, although the source wouldn't elaborate. The recording about the former Playboy model, Karen McDougal, was among the trove of documents and materials the FBI seized during a raid of Cohen's hotel residence and office earlier.
Okay, I got to admit something.
Yeah.
When we were
You like Trump.
When we were investigating Whitewater, we somehow ended up with oral gratification in the Oval Office.
And then lying about it and then covering up, yeah.
But why did we care? Why was it ever an issue in the first place?
That was my question.
And why is it? And now we're investigating Russian collusion. What do we care if he and Stormy Daniels were running around?
The reason for this is they think, or they're trying to insinuate anyway, that campaign money was used for the payoffs, which is a felony.
Oh,
if it's true.
All right.
If it's true, but nobody has any way of knowing. So.
What he was doing with Stormy, I don't care about.
Has somebody come out and said that, or are you just...
No, that's...
I think they're just planning on impeaching him for just bad taste in general. Just in poor taste.
They impeached Bill, but they couldn't get the votes to get rid of him. So.
Can you trust your very first childhood memories? Maybe not, according to a new study. People's earliest memories normally are formed around 3 to 3.5 years of age, according to past research.
I don't think I got any that young. Do you? Who's Deanna? I don't think I have any.
According to my therapist, I've blocked him out.
But in a survey of more than 6,600 people, British scientists found that 39% of participants claimed to have memories from age 2 or younger.
They're really full of crap.
Yeah, the study agrees with you.
If you're still pooping your diapers, you don't have any memories except maybe pooping your diapers.
The researchers agree with you.
The only memory you have is,
they say
I don't even have memories of my old man holding me up above it, screaming
at
bloody
you.
murders, terrify me not to do it again.
I have a memory of being in Winona, where one of my aunt Mary, full-blooded Polish gal, I would have been staying with them from some reason. She took me to a movie, and the movie was Hooper. Remember Hooper with Burt Reynolds?
Yeah.
And somebody gave somebody the finger, and she asked me, "Do you know what that means?" And I very bluntly told her what it meant. And my wife disputes that I would ever have said that to my old aunt. But I wasn't saying it mean. I was just, but I have a distinct memory of that.
Well, you were a smart kid.
That would have been in 78. I just looked up Hooper.
Before we break, I think Kenny has some traffic.
yeah, we had a
stuff.
crash on
I'm not
East.
done with my story here. And then we got popcorn.
You are done. We had a crash eastbound 694 at Long Lake Road. It's gone, but now traffic is jamming at 100 and running 20 minutes on eastbound 694 100 over to 35W. Sports Talk continues. Now we take you back to the movie theater where Matthew just explained what the middle finger means to his aunt.
Kenny, I got a question for you.
Go ahead.
What is the finished product going to look like downtown on West 94? Do you have any idea?
No, they're changing everything.
Okay,
Ramps
now,
are,
7th, is 7th going to stay? 11th's gone.
as far as I know, 11th is
good.
gone. Yeah,
Okay.
But no, I really don't know. Patrick, I have to admit, I don't care.
You don't drive that direction. I care.
I'm not going to try to sell you any kind of BS. I just don't care.
Finally, the real Kenny comes through on the
You know
radio.
what? I mean, you've had to work one of the last 3 weeks, so I can see why you're worn out.
I'm at my wit's end, Patrick.
Kenny, if you'd like, Rook has another story.
Yeah. Can you give us
When he
another
was
one?
3
What about
or
your
after.
uncle that asked you to mow
Uncle
the lawn?
Beanie?
Matt asked you, your
Uncle
brother to mow
Beanie?
the lawn, but not that patch of weeds over there.
That was Grandpa Red. He was
Grandpa
growing
Red,
his own.
yeah.
He was taking the reefer, I think. And he told him, Steve, I need you to cut the grass, but cut everything but this patch right back by the railroad tracks. A stone's throw from Homecroft Elementary School, and Grandpa's growing his
felony.
own. Yes, right over the bridge. Oh my God. The bad thing is Steve knew what it was. Like, I'm sure Steve probably stopped down there every once in a while. I'm just checking on it for you, Gramps.
California Highway Patrol said a driver caught going 99 miles an hour told a trooper the radar readout must be the current temperature. Not bad. The CHP's Oakland station tweeted a vehicle was stopped by the trooper for doing 99 in a 65 on Interstate 980. The Highway Patrol quotes the driver as saying, "I wasn't driving that fast," and asked the trooper to show him the readout on the radar device. Driver responding, "That display must be the current temperature, not what I was driving." The CHP said the
Did
driver...
they go for it? Did they buy it?
No, eventually, when the patrolman told him, no, that's not the case, he conceded.
I haven't been out there for about 6 years, man. I think I'm too old to drive on those 6-lane freeways.
I was out there in February, and every time I see one of those California Highway Patrols, I just picture Ponch and John, and the Chips theme rolling in the background.
Dun, 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 dun.
Attaboy, Rook.
Boy, was that a bad TV
Oh,
series.
come on!
Every single episode was about road rage. Remember that?
Yeah, 7-car
They were
pileup.
ahead of their time.
So fantastic.
You know what? They could bring it back and be about texting. Another texter.
Has anybody tried to watch the Chips movie?
No.
How bad is it?
Oh my! Oh!
Who's in that one?
Eric Estrada.
The typical
guys.
yeah, the typical clowns.
You mean from back in the day, or they had
it was
a recent one?
It was a recent one, and it is just
no new idea.
How could they
Dax
find?
Shepard comes to mind.
Oh, he was John Baker, I bet.
He might have been, yeah.
How could they go out and find an American sex symbol as good as Eric Estrada? You're not going to find that today.
Yeah.
Especially he kept putting on about 10 pounds a year, too, didn't he?
Oh,
By
yeah.
the end, he was popping his butt.
They had him in a girdle.
Yeah, in the sidecar.
Those of us that grew up in the 80s, he was our Elvis, baby.
He looked like a Venezuelan pitcher, man. They all put on about 15 a year, too.
You know, if I'm allowed to let you in with one more story of my youth.
Please, yes.
Several years ago, with the invention of Netflix, I went through and found the show Emergency.
Yes.
And gathered all the kids around and said, you guys are going to love this. This is what we watched, and it was fantastic. You know, Chet and all those guys. And they lasted about 3 minutes and basically gave me this as they each individually walked off and said, this was the lamest show. Everything's an overdose.
Well, we had like 20-year-olds telling me they watched Blazing Saddles and thought it was dated. How can you watch Blazing Saddles and think it was dated?
No.
It'll live forever.
Yes.
As a part of Americana.
Yes.
Very
The only
in the end, it's a story of inclusiveness.
Yes. And it's the only cowboy movie Such has ever watched. He hates Westerns except for Blazing Saddles.
And North by Northwest. Oh, it wasn't a Western?
Wasn't a Western, yeah.
Oh, okay.
There was a cornfield in it.
Got it.
had
That's
this-
the only scene I've ever watched.
All right, Johnny, you better give us that story. You want to get in one here.
Well, I had this story a couple hours ago, but the fellow said bring it back in when Kenny's here. So
Oh,
okay.
yes.
A woman in San Antonio gave birth in the most unlikely of places, a Chick-fil-A restaurant bathroom.
Oh, man.
Fallon Griffin told KSAT she had to rush into the Chick-fil-A while heading to the hospital to give birth. She told the TV station she and her husband were dropping off their older children with a family friend in the parking lot. At that point, she realized she couldn't wait. Griffin's husband, Robert, said the young employees let the couple in because the place had already closed for the evening, and they were quick to help under pressure.
That's good. I'm glad it was closed. Otherwise, don't let her in.
Brenda Enriquez.
Was Dad able to plow down a few chicken breasts while she was in there pushing the kid out?
Let me know how everything works out.
Got any leftovers?
Brenda Enriquez, a Chick-fil-A employee who called 911, said, I could hear high-pitched screaming, and I was like, okay, this is serious. This is happening. In a Facebook post, the husband said management brought them clean towels as Fallon started to go into labor in the restaurant's bathroom stall. She gave birth to a girl, Gracelyn Griffin, about 15 minutes before paramedics got there. Her birth certificate, Robert wrote on Facebook, reads, born in a Chick-fil-A. Hospital had me sign the birth certificate as attending physician. The Chick-fil-A has offered baby Gracelyn free Chick-fil-A for life.
Holy cow. It'd be worth it.
And a guaranteed first job when she hits the age of 14.
Wow.
What you didn't point out is the one man that was in there at gunpoint was ordering the staff to only give him chicken fillets without the bun, and he had a beard, and he was from
Minneapolis.
Yes.
That's right.
Does traffic on a
Yes,
certain radio
exactly.
station.
Reuvers, I've made a really bad mistake. I plowed through 15.
tossing the buns aside. It was like Laurel and Hardy when he has the can of beans piled high. It was all
I thought I was
buns.
going to give him CPR.
Patrick, you can't laugh. Surely you can understand. Please tell me you understand.
Bratwurst at Milwaukee County Stadium. Toasted brats in the press box, man.
I was drinking.
But,
I was eating those chicken breasts like they were, like it was shots of tequila.
We should
one after another.
also point out for the folks that have never heard this story, that was the same day/evening that the boss took us out for dinner
yeah, to J.D. Hoyt's.
J.D. Hoyt's the same night. So you had about 15 pieces of chicken before you came down
That
to
was
J.D.
your
Hoyt's.
appetizer.
And it was a rough couple of days after that.
Those were the days, man. Those dinners at Hoyt's.
Yeah, we're due for one, aren't we?
Yeah, it'd probably shut us down.
That former morning guy took care of that one. All right. Thanks, Johnny.
Okay.
Have a good weekend. No, wait. I got you here at 5:30.
I'll be here at 5:30. Okay.
dad, Dan Seaman, the boss around here, his dad died, Don, earlier this week.
I saw that.
And Don was 86 and quite the character, I guess, and tough old guy from the Arlington area. But he was a Shriner.
Okay.
And he was in hundreds of parades. He would do 50 parades a year between the Shriners and the vets and everything, the vets. But he would drive the little Shriner
Oh, my
cars.
God, those are crazy.
He drove the little Shriner cars in the parades.
They're like the carts of death.
So I believe the funeral might have been today, but I think it's Saturday.
Okay.
Tomorrow morning. And when they leave the church
Come on.
to go to the funeral home, they're going to have like 20 of those little Shriner cars in front of them, leading them out to the burial plot.
I think that's a grand idea. Are they going to be doing the figure eights? Because they always do the crisscrossing.
You got to do the figure eights, Shard. They're going to have to load up the road, but you got to have you got to do the figure eights. So that would be a combination funeral parade. That is
do they have to chalk that one down as more community service? Because those guys cruise.
Oh man, those are some cars. Of course, my favorite Shriner moment remains Fenway Park. Good Irish Catholic. Cliff Keen, sports writer, comes in. The press box hung real low then. They're having Shriners Day. There's 2,000 Shriners out on the field. He screams, "Get those bleeping Protestants off the field and let's play a ball game." All righty, we'll be back. Courtney Cronin, who covers the Vikings for ESPN.com, will be with us momentarily.
1500 ESPN is KSTP St. Paul, Minneapolis. It is 79 degrees. The ride is next.
Hi, this is Chris Howard, host of Plugged In with Chris Howard. It's crazy to think that a few weeks ago we were talking about whether or not Tua Tagovailoa should consider retiring. After 2 concussions and worldwide debates on player safety and NFL culpability, Tua has done nothing but go back to work and currently has the Dolphins riding a 3-game win streak and 1 loss behind the division favorite Buffalo Bills. While everyone was yapping about the end of his career, Tua Tagovailoa said he'll decide when it's time. And clearly, he's not ready to hang up the cleats. Hi, this is Chris Howard from the Plugged In with Chris Howard podcast. BetOnline.net is your #1 source for betting football and the start of the new basketball season. Find all the latest player developments, team matchups, news, podcasts, and in-depth analysis on every game. BetOnline remains your continued source for all your sports wagering information with live betting, up-to-the-minute scores for the fastest and easiest way to check in on all your favorite games and events, including the MLB playoffs, the start of the NHL season, MMA, boxing, and golf. And if you love sports podcasts, you can find those at BetOnline as well. Head to the website today or use your mobile device to learn more. BetOnline, where the game starts.